Hello, this is Labib
And this is Fady,
reporting from Cairo, Egypt, our daily news report.
Okay, today we'll be talking about the first thing is restriction fragment length polymorphism.
And short tandem repeats and PCR.
Wow, Fady.
Wow,
Nice.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nice,
Thank you.
nice.
Yeah.
Third thing is CODIS.
The story of exoneration and conviction.
Oh my god, wow. Wow, Fady.
Come on, has to proceed.
The next thing is the story of exoneration.
Lastly, we're gonna talk about our personal views, and I hope you have a great time listening to our podcast with Fady and
Fady.
this is one of the pictures that describe the RFLP steps.
Okay, now Fady Labib is gonna tell you the first two steps of the RFLP, and they are. Go ahead, Fady.
First step in the DNA typing is the extraction of the DNA from the sample. Then the extracted DNA sample is then cut into fragments by the restriction enzymes. Go,
Fady.
Go take it, man.
Okay, so the third step is electrophoresis. The DNA samples have a slightly negative charge and can be separated by a technique called gel electrophoresis, which separates the pieces of the DNA based on their size. Fady?
And this happens because the smaller strands move faster than the larger. The last step is adding luminescent dyes to make the strands visible. Thank you.
Good job, Fady.
Okay, thank you.
This picture is more colorful and shows a lot of diagrams for each step. The other picture was the first one to show you, but this one shows more. It's more clear and it's more efficient. And
so we gave you the second picture because we all know that the RFLP is a little bit complicated. So that's why we gave you a second picture to see and analyze the picture.
Okay, so this is our third picture, and this picture shows the outcome of the RFLP test, which shows which one belongs to which DNA. And now my friend here, Fady Labib, is gonna tell you more about this picture and add some information to it.
Okay, now this picture describes that the shaded part is a kind of a trait or disease that Sun 1 doesn't have, but Sun 2 and Sun 3 has, and this is an outcome of an RFLP test. Hello, this is Fady
And Fady.
We came again to show you our faces and tell you that we are sponsored by Shipsy and Bipsy and Gibna Domti and
Toyota.
So stay tuned and get your popcorn. After getting your popcorn and get settled down, I'm gonna leave you with Hassan's excellence. Come on, Mr. Hassan.
Okay. So how is PCR related to STR? I'm gonna tell you right now. The STR is closely related to PCR because PCR is used to make millions of exact copies of DNA, but from small amounts of small samples. And the STR repeats these multiple copies to create a full DNA sequence. Now, Fady Labib is gonna tell you the advantages of CTR over RFLP.
So the advantage is that you can start the process with a much smaller sample of DNA, and this will help a lot of forensic scientists to figure out the suspect crime, because sometimes they don't have that of a big DNA sample, which will help them conclude the crime scene. So the STR is a short sequence of DNA, normally of length 2 to 5 base pairs, and they are repeated numerous times in the head-tail man. Hello once again, this is Fady and
Fady.
We came again to show you our faces and to review the third section, which is about CODIS. CODIS. Take Mr. Hassan.
Thank you. First of all, CODIS is a computer database which stores DNA of convicted sex offenders.
Yes.
convicted murderers,
Yes.
or any other criminals. The purpose of this system is to create a national information database where law professionals can exchange DNA information. The Federal
Bureau of Investigation,
also known as the FBI. CODIS was created in
90.
Good job, Fady.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. There are 4 functions of CODIS, which are: number 1, DNA profile, entry and management. Number 2,
Number 2 is, let me see
Feature.
right here. It's right here.
feature, man. Stay tuned with me, man. Number 3 is yeah, again, and it's match management. And number 4 is
Statistical calculations.
okay. Number 5. Okay, CODIS is considered as a very successful database because as only of for October 2014, CODIS has assisted in 252,272 investigations from an amount of 263,847 suspected investigations. So it helped in about more than 90% of the investigations. You with me, man?
Yeah.
Okay. The major risk involving the use of CODIS is people may be afraid that they will use it for another reason other than suspected criminals and for the criminal's case. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now our exoneree is about someone called Robert Lee Miller Jr. Robert was 27 years old when he convicted his crime. He was sentenced to death. He is a black male. He was convicted of murdering a 90-year-old woman, and he was raped and murdered. Yeah, she was raped and murdered. So he was sentenced to death, and the crime was reported. The date was 1987, but he was convicted 1988. So a year passed. So guys, now Fady is gonna tell you how forensic science helped Robert Lee Miller got out of the sentence death he was sentenced. So tell us, Fady.
Okay, forensic scientists re-examined the semen evidence in 1992 using DNA testing. So the lab compared the semen from the crime scene to Miller's DNA profile and concluded that he could not have been the source.
So you're telling me that DNA helped him get out of the trouble he was in?
Yes, it did. And there's another test to reassure that. 2 years later, the hair samples that was analyzed by Josie, an analyst, was proved wrong. Another private lab said that reassured that the comparison of the hair fragments from the crime scene to Miller's scalp hair was essentially meaningless and completely unjustified.
After the 2 findings they found, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals tossed out Miller's conviction and sentenced and granted him a new trial.
Okay, Mr. Hassan, so tell me about a little bit more about his life.
So like we said before, Robert is 27 years old. He lived in Oklahoma City. He used to work in a shop. So the idea of him raping a 90-year-old woman was out of scope, and even the judges themselves are supposed to believe that it's not impossible, but it is sometimes impossible in real life. But for a 27-year-old to rape a 90-year-old woman,
it's very hard, man.
Yeah, it's very disgusting.
I don't believe it.
I wouldn't do it, man.
Yeah.
The podcast is about to come to an end. Now me and Fady are going to tell you our responses. So my response is that forensic science helped a lot of people who were convicted of death or rape or who were convicted of something, get out of jail and are set free. So the Innocence Project is one of the best campaigns done. They get money and for charity and stuff like that, so they can get people out of jail. So that was my response, and that I think was amazing. Now Fady is going to tell you what he thinks about his response.
My point of view, CODIS is a very successful database because it aids in a lot of investigations and it helps police officers to do their jobs done with a very small amount of time. Okay, this was Fady Labib
and Hassan Badr.
Thank you for watching our podcast.
and have a great night and a good night and a
A beautiful day.
happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Hey!